Monte Vista, Milpitas, Irvington. And I ask kids, I ask them, are you concerned about getting a job when you graduate? You know what? 80% of kids raise their hand. For the first time in our country's history, there's a question. Is the American dream going to be alive for the next generation? And at this time, unfortunately, we have a Washington politics that seems so disconnected, a Congress that is broken. You know, despite the low approval ratings, The Economist had an article that said that the turnover rate in the United States Congress is less than European monarchy families. We fought a revolution over this. These things weren't supposed to be lifetime estates. Thomas Jefferson said members of Congress ought to return to their communities and live under the laws they passed. Tonight, I ask not just for your vote. I ask you to join our campaign for change. We want to invigorate our politics with new ideas, with new vision. We want to bring something different because we've gotten so far astray from our founding ideals. I want to work to help make the American dream possible for the next generation, the dream that inspired my parents to immigrate to this country in the 1960s. Thank you.
Congressman Honda, you have 2 minutes for your closing statements.
Well, thank you very much. I want to thank you, Raj, the panelists. I want to thank NBC and our audience here and the viewership. I want to thank them for tuning in on to us rather than Monday Night Football. And I think that I would like to leave this impression that my history and my experience is the pattern of the way I work, think, and behave. In 1942, I said before, my government, our government turned our backs on us. There was nobody that stood up and said no when they took away our constitutional rights. There was nobody that stood up and said, this is wrong. Under my watch, this will never happen. I will always speak up for those who need that voice. That passion was developed as I was growing up. And that drove me to look at serving my country through Peace Corps. In El Salvador, I spent 2 years there, learning another language, learning another culture. But I also learned about myself. I learned that the things that I experienced, I can turn that into a positive energy where youngsters can benefit from my insights so that they don't have to go through the same kind of things that I've gone through. And so I want our youngsters to be able to be critical thinkers, to be passionate about their constitutional rights and to be knowledgeable about what they can do and speak up. So as a teacher and administrator for over 20 years, that was the direction I went until I hit the direct politics, elected politics. And there I took all this experience and turned that into policy making where the policies that we have will generate that kind of behavior as a nation, as a community, as a city, as a county. And I think that that's the important thing that I want to be able to share with people out there. The direct politics has been impacting me, and I would be very, very humble and appreciative of your vote and your support.
Mr. Khanna, Congressman Honda, I think I speak for a lot of people here in the studio and watching wherever they might be watching, but regardless of the outcome of the election, we appreciate your public service. Thank you. And I know we've asked our audience to hold their applause throughout this whole debate, which they've done a great job, and I think it's a good opportunity for them to thank the candidates. And thanks for those of you watching at home or online or even listening on the radio. We hope to see you at the polls on Election Day, November 4th, or at the post office before mailing in your ballots there. For our entire panel and everyone here at NBC Bay Area, I'm Raj Mathai. Our coverage continues after this break with our political analyst, Larry Gersten.